The rule of law, why this may just be a nation's most valuable asset. The rule of law refers to the principle that law should govern a nation. It implies that the influence and authority of law within society serves as a constraint upon the behavior of citizens and government officials alike. It also implies that no one is above the law, and that goes for all people regardless of their status or position, including governing officials. Now, the rule of law has several facets I'd like to speak on briefly. Transparency is the idea that the actions of a government or governing official are easily known to all, and that nothing's done secretly, and that even how tax money is spent, for example, is public knowledge. Predictability is the idea that laws are known, consequences are known, and you're not going to be surprised and be arrested if you're living the law. Stability, the concept that government is not frequently changing and that power is not constantly being transferred between parties. In the United States, we see when a president finishes his term and a new one steps in, that process happens without much drama or fanfare. Enforceability and accountability is the concept that laws are actually enforced, that citizens and government officials are held accountable for their actions, and if they break the law, they receive the consequence. The due process refers to the government honoring the individual rights of their citizens. For example, in the United States, we have the right to a speedy trial if we are convicted. So where does rule of law come from? Well, the term has only been used commonly since the 1900s, but it's much older than that. In fact, many ancient civilizations are familiar with it, including ancient Greece and Rome. So Aristotle says it is more proper that law should govern than any one of the citizens. In other words, a dictatorship is inappropriate. If law is the master of the government and government is its slave, then the situation is full of promise and men enjoy all the blessings that the gods shower on the state. In other words, government must be subservient to law. The Roman statesman Cicero said, "We are all servants of the laws in order that we may be free." Again, law must trump all for freedoms to be secured. So let's talk about Pakistan. This figure here represents data collected by World Bank, where they've attempted to classify countries of the world according to the degree in which rule of law is a reality. We see the United States as green and is among the nations where rule of law is for the most part a reality. In red, we see countries that don't have the benefits of rule of law. It's not a reality. And we see Pakistan as pink, meaning it's in between the 10th to 25th percentile. In other words, there's a lot of room for improvement, and they're not really enjoying the benefits of rule of law. That's not really a reality. And why is that? Well, there's many reasons and examples of obstacles to rule of law. One is rigged elections. Another is just the corruption that is prevalent all throughout the government. From the prime ministers and presidents, we see corruption in every government agency all the way down to local police forces, where this corruption is a huge obstacle. And we know the story of these leaders, presidents and prime ministers, and the corruption they were involved with. Another obstacle is that criminals are really not brought to justice like they should be. An estimated 5 to 10% conviction rate in Pakistan throughout the country, which means 90 to 95% are off the hook. And criminals and terrorists alike thrive on this tolerance of government, where when they're not brought to justice for their actions, this crime and terrorism kind of goes rampant. And there's a lot of other examples, but I don't have time to talk about them. But just in closing, why is rule of law a nation's most important asset? Well, consider the circumstances in Pakistan, and if those were in effect in the United States. Imagine that you were afraid to go vote because you thought there might be a suicide bomber, or you did vote and then you realized it didn't matter because the elections were rigged, or just imagine that every day your safety is in jeopardy in a way that is not a reality in the United States now. And it becomes obvious that rule of law really is a nation's most valuable asset. Thank you for watching my presentation. Enjoy reading my references.